green square now.
The green square. Well, James, if I'm not mistaken, that means we're live.
Someone post the announcement, please.
I'm posting it now.
Okay, thank God.
Nope, I got it.
I love you.
I got it. I love you.
I was 4 inches away from screaming my lungs out.
Iris, you didn't post the Twitch link. I know it's right above, but like...
I'll post it again. Oh, wait, so did. That's fine.
I'll post my nudes on twitter.com.
Yeah, I'll just post my nudes.
Mario
Hey,
64.
Everybody? Like even
every single person
in the universe.
We're doing another DBA short story. This is where we do short stories for our TTRPG series, Destruction Bench Agreement. Where we examine off-camera, quote-unquote, interactions and plot developments and epilogues and stuff of that nature that doesn't really fit into the regular flow of things. And as you can see, there's a child on screen right now. James, who the hell are they?
Oh yeah, this is my funny little NB Oz, who isn't actually a child. They're an infinitely reincarnating being who's been around since the dawn of witchcraft, basically.
Indeed.
Pretty long.
Very long time.
We also, I'm Iris, by the way. I'm in this short story. We also have Scarlet.
I'm here. I'm also in this short story.
Yeah, you are. And why exactly me and Scarlet are here will become clear very soon. The actual subject of this short story is, as I put in the announcement, it is a follow-up on a conversation Oz had with a certain someone in episode 190, Eclipse of the Moon. And you'll see what develops from that. I want to keep it a fun surprise. So, that being said, if you guys enjoy what you see here today, and you enjoy our content, you enjoy our streams, you can actually get involved on the action and find out when we're doing more things. If you join our Discord server, our Discord server is called Fine Dining. Here's the link. And you can find out when we're doing more stuff, see cool art, interact with cool people. It's a great time.
Be cool in general, really.
Now, James,
Yeah.
I didn't really have any kind of particular intro in mind for this.
Wow,
so
why don't you just
why don't you just narrate what Oz is doing, how they've gotten here, what's happening.
All right.
The events immediately leading up to this moment where Oz is standing in front of a house.
Yeah, so some people may remember in one of the most recent episodes that we had, Oz made a deal with one Mrs. Vayne to give some information to her in exchange for information, and, well, even if Oz had tried to ghost the woman, that's not gonna work, so, the baby actually has to enact upon the consequences of their own actions. And has... Much to their usual dismay, about such actions to take place. And has been invited to said woman's abode. They asked their parents to drop them off. At this point, their parents have enough trust for Oz that they aren't constantly on edge of, oh god, is this another way for them to kill themselves? So you know, they actually got some no parental guidance on this particular adventure. They got their usual backpack, which is currently stuffed with various papers, more so than the usual amount, and they are just making their way up the funny steps. If Roll20 will let me select my icon, there we go. I hate this Roll20 update.
It's really good, you guys. It definitely makes
really
streaming and playing a fucking breeze, let me tell you.
Yeah, look at this high quality image here. This is not stream lag, this is Roll20 lag. 100%.
Oz. Yep. Oz, you step up to the front door of this house. It's a pretty nice house. It's only one floor, but it's pretty big. Just nice looking. Pretty expensive. On the front of the door, you see there is a small, one of those small camera things that, goes to your phone and all that. But yeah, what do you do?
They kind of just take in their surroundings, just in case they need to, like, I don't know, report to the police for some reason later or something like that.
Why would they need to do that?
The usual gremlin thing. They take note of any windows in case they need to make a quick getaway, and then they just lightly knock on the door.
Oz knocks on the door, and for a couple minutes, there isn't any response. Eventually, they knock again, and then they hear some, muffled voices coming through the door, and, what sounds like, a brief sort of argument before eventually, footsteps approach the door, and, standing there in the doorway is, a lady.
How I wasn't
she looks
expecting anything.
She looks kind of frazzled, like she's just woken up or something like that. Hey, yes, hi, Oz.
Hi.
Nice to have you here. No, you weren't interrupting. I just, sorry, I'm bad about losing track of time sometimes.
Yeah, I hope,
why don't you come in?
I hope you didn't forget about my appointment and weren't, like, fucking your wife or something like that.
No, nothing like that.
Can I roll to perceive that's a lie?
Rubs her eyes again. Sure.
Damn it.
I mean, even on a 1, you're pretty sure, like, just from looking at her, it looks more like she's probably a bit hungover than, like, you interrupted something like that. Anyhow, yes, come in. Welcome to our little slice of paradise. Is that what they call it?
Yeah, some of them. That's a lot of flowers.
They're fake.
It's a lot of fake flowers.
True. Not gonna lie. Joy emoji. Okay.
I think they look nice.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't exactly have a plan for this. Do you want, like, the grand tour, or do you just want to, like, get down to business?
Whatever you're feeling up for, man. I don't know. I don't care. I've got the afternoon to myself today.
Well, I'll at least show you around for a moment, and we can decide where to actually do this.
Yo, is that a blood splatter? Hell yeah!
No, that's just some wine I spilled on accident. Coming over here, Oz, on the left, you see a kitchen area.
Alrighty, I'll wait for Roll20 to let me scroll to look at the kitchen. I see, basic kitchen.
And on the right, you see what looks like a dining room that leads into a living room.
There's a black line left.
That's a wall.
No, like right here.
Oh, oops.
That's
Not bad. There we go. So we could sit in here or go to the office, whatever you're feeling.
I don't mind going to the office. That might be a little more private if we need it, and, it'd be easier to give you your papers that I have been able to acquire already.
Well, the office is where my other half is right now, so we can go ahead and talk to her as well.
Yeah, it'd be nice to say hello to the missus while I'm visiting as well,
Of course. Let me actually align my camera so I can reveal the room properly real fast.
Alright. You do that, Rebecca.
And, Rebecca opens up the door after knocking a few times.
Rebecca reveals the
Hello.
room.
Yeah. Hello, sweetie. This is Oz. I believe you've met them before.
Hi! You gave me the no-no juice. Remember that?
Let me see if this translates right.
Yeah.
What happened? What?
Slowly turning the chair.
Oh, I see. Oh, there it goes. Roll 20 was... Oh, God.
Yes. I did, didn't I?
Yeah. Let me know if you want to know any updates on that.
Now, Oz, we're not here to banter about the
She holds
past. We're
up
here
her
to talk
hand.
about the future.
She closes her eyes and just sighs again. What it's doing to you is fucking up your body irreparably.
And my
What it-
epithet.
Oh, you know what? How could I forget? I should never have opened that fucking Pandora's box, and it appalls me that you decided to partake in the curses within.
I mean, can you blame me?
Yes, easily.
Damn, bitch.
If I lived for 500 years, I'd find something a bit more productive to do than trying to kill myself perpetually.
This is more than 500, baby.
Sweetie, come on now. We're here on a... This is a amicable visit. Just kind of gently grabs her shoulder like, it's okay.
This is me amicable, Rebecca. You should know this by now.
Yes, all right, fine. Oh,
Oh yeah, snake.
Oh, yeah, that's Noodle.
Oh, like the snake god.
The what?
Look, Sterling. You seriously don't know Noodle?
No,
It's like iconic.
I'm going back.
Bitch.
I just
shows
named
me
him
too.
Noodle because he's a little spaghetti boy.
Noodle owes me like $20.
Jesus.
You can tell me a little bit more about that in a moment. Sorry about this mess. I meant to pick this up. Sorry. She starts grabbing some of the wrappers and putting them in the trash over here.
She says that every time someone's over. Don't listen to her lies.
Yes, and I do intend to every time. I apologize.
You guys need to like
But it
get a
somehow
maid.
slips your mind, doesn't it, sweetheart?
She blows a raspberry before sitting down. If you also want a chair, I can grab one for you.
Yes, please.
All right. She goes and grabs an extra chair from a side room.
Hey, Eliza.
Yes.
I'm not touching you. Just the little kid thing of like hands just close enough.
What's your point?
I'm not touching you.
Very well. She turns around and continues doing work.
Now, Oz, I feel like that joke would be a little bit more charming if we didn't know your true nature.
Damn it. I like being a nuisance, though.
I can confirm that it
Aw,
would be
come here now. She, like, picks Oz up and sets them in the chair. She chuckles a bit and turns the chair and sits down. So, research notes. What have you got for me?
Alright, well, I don't have all of it, that's for sure. It's not been that very long, but I have managed to dig some things up. Mostly here, though, I have just various papers, just, forms filled out saying I've given you permission to look into them more on your own time,
Oh, are there some of them sealed away, I imagine.
Yeah, and some of them are just like, I had a lot of time to do a lot of research in that past life, so, I've got quite a bit of shit that's just stored in various, like, research labs and locations and such, and, so there's a lot to dig up on my own,
Gotcha. Very cool. She, if offered, will take the notes and be skimming through them for a few moments.
Yeah, Oz hands over first the various forms filled out for her to have permission to look into them, each one of them listing the specific location of the information so she can easily find it on her own time. And then they pull out the actual research notes they've been able to obtain and pass them over to her.
Now, as far as giving permission goes, I have to wonder how that works, considering that, as far as most people know, Dr. Cosmo LeBlanc died at that party, however many years ago it was now.
Yeah, it took a little bit of work here, right? So, a good portion, even disregarding the whole, I'm supposed to be dead thing, a good portion of my stuff technically falls into line for the next of kin, which is, my children. So, I've kind of found a loophole with that of just, asking them to fill out some of these forms if need be. So if, any of these fall through, I'll ask them for assistance. I'd rather not, though. But, I've also, called to let some of these locations know already, the relevant information of I'm still around, actually, my epithet is rebirth, so it let me reincarnate, and, most of the information I've provided kind of lines up with the, information they already knew about me previously, even if they didn't know the epithet. So most of them have kind of just believed me, especially since I knew information only LeBlanc would know.
Well, even if I do have a little trouble, I like to think what I often lack in official paperwork, I make up for in dashing good looks,
That's fair.
She kind of, makes a frame with her hands around her face, smiling.
Well, even disregarding that, at the very least, the ones I was able to get my hands on are from the Magical Girl Society, since they already are involved with DBA, so they already knew about my stuff, so it was, easier to get access. The only problem, it was a bit of a pain trying to dig through their horribly organized system. You'd think they would have organized it after moving to Daybreak, but no, they didn't. So this is, probably, not even a fifth of the research notes I have stored away over there. But this is what I was able to dig out of their horribly organized archives.
Well, I'll tell you what, Oz. If you want to, make this a mutually beneficial relationship, I mean, as long as you keep bringing me notes, I'll give you some of our information in return, Tit for tat.
What kind of information we talking about?
Well, what are you interested in?
I mean, I feel like it should be kind of obvious, but just, epithet nullification or curse removals, that kind of stuff.
Right. I suppose you would be interested in that kind of thing, wouldn't you? She kind of taps her chin a bit.
Yeah, I mean, that's the only really thing I'm interested in. I mean, I'm not really interested in, waves hands in a big gesture, power, some people are, because, what's it gonna do for me? Make my epithet stronger? That's, the opposite of what I want.
May I recommend Epithet?
Wow, that's such a great suggestion, Eliza. I never would have thought of it.
Full of good ideas.
She is full of good ideas, isn't she?
Absolutely a riot, this one.
Hey, I mean, I've never made any claims to the contrary that without this one on my side, I wouldn't have gotten half as far as I otherwise have. And now that we're back together again, I'm very confident we can make some big changes happen very soon.
You don't say.
I do say. In fact, Oz, she kind of sits up a bit in her chair and sets her notes aside. Now, you say you're interested in epithet nullification and epithet research and things like that. And well, of course, I'm basically the foremost expert on such things. So I can tell you all kinds of things. I could probably bore you to death with hours and hours of lecturing, but I do have a potential offer to make you if you'd be interested.
What would this offer be, perchance?
She smiles a bit and thinks for a moment. Before we get into that, if you don't mind a little bit of simple academic curiosity, since, well, I'll be going into my research and such here in a moment, I'm curious about you first. What was it like being this world-renowned researcher? I mean, I've studied and read many of, would it be more appropriate to say your notes or their notes? And research on all kinds of different topics, and well, I'm just curious to know, I mean, is all of that research something you're interested in going back to? Is it something you're still going to pursue now that you're, alive again, or?
Well, to answer the first question first off, I don't really have a preference either way. The way I perceive myself and my identity is kind of nebulous and weird, so I kind of alternate between either or. In regards to the other question, kind of just like sighs and looks off into the middle distance. I'm kind of indifferent to it. Like, if my previous research becomes relevant, I'm not gonna shy away from it, but I'm not too interested in, I guess, retreading old ground. I tend to switch it up with different lives and such to, not make too many connections and such. And especially with, some of the stuff involving my most recent life, if despite it, continuously cropping back up and becoming relevant, it's probably not the, best of my, past lives to go back to.
I see. So, every time you're reincarnated, you treat it as a kind of new chapter, a clean slate.
More or less. It's like, reincarnating gets boring after a while, it's like, there's only so much you can do when you're focused on one task, so it helps keep things more interesting, more stimulating if you just be like, okay, this time I'm gonna do this, I'm not gonna do anything else except focus on this idea that I have going, see how far I can get with it, and when it's done, not gonna retread on old ground there, let's change it up and do something else, because otherwise, it's like, there's no challenge. You're eventually gonna get something right if you just keep going at the same thing over and over, which is kind of why every incarnation, somewhat, I try to focus on the, not reincarnating thing, because eventually something's gotta stick, right? But everything else is like, I want more of a challenge. I'm not trying to look for a challenge with finding a cure to this. I want to find a cure to this.
Well. She kind of shakes her head a little bit. Maybe it's because of my own limited perspective on things, but I can't even imagine that. I mean, I've often contemplated what it would be like to become immortal and live forever, and what I would do with such a life, and well, even if I reincarnated from time to time, I can't imagine I would stop pursuing, well, what I've always been pursuing, the furtherment of science and the betterment of humanity. I mean, again, perhaps it's just my own perspective, but I mean, it's sort of a drive I've always possessed, and to think you would just say, well, enough's enough, time to move on with that. I mean, again, it's more than fine, it's just, gosh.
Well, it's kind of shrugs. I mean, maybe it's just because, you're more naturally, interested in science and the pursuit of knowledge, but, like, I've never been, like, an ambitious person. In my first life, I wasn't wanting to be anything, like, too crazy or anything, and I've never just been, like, ambitious by nature, I guess you could say. I'm
see.
kind of... if I wasn't in the position I was in, I'd probably just be a very passive person, you know?
I suppose that's the difference between you and I, then. Well. Do you have anything unfinished from when you were Dr. LeBlanc, but also any of your previous lives that you're looking to pick up the pieces from, or is it just, you know, keep marching forward, never look back kind of situation?
Well, I mean, I don't
Do you
have...
still want to kill the Fatal Crane Kid's dad?
I mean, to be honest, that killing his dad it's more of a funny coincidence than anything, because, I mean, I was mostly trying to do it for, like, a, in that life, I was trying to do it for, you know, to get on someone's good side.
Company, I imagine.
Yeah, it didn't
Fair
work
enough.
out, because, you know, I died. Like, I have a lot of unfinished business with other wives. I wish I could avoid it. But the LeBlanc stuff, at the very least, since it's very recent, keeps coming back. Like how my kids keep showing back up.
Oh, gosh. She kind of, like, wrinkles her nose. That's something I hadn't even contemplated. That must be an experience.
Yeah, like, you know, my daughter showed up. I think she's been in a couple bounties, actually. I think I heard something about her being in, like, a maze bounty or something. I think she told me about that, or, like, a labyrinth of some sort.
She leans back a bit.
They were, like, trying to find the exit to a maze, and it was a long, treacherous venture. Whole thing. Bounties are weird.
I suppose the lack of closure, of conclusion to your life is part of why you're seeking something that can stop this cycle from continuing, yes? That is what you're after, right?
Well, yes and no. Like, it's... I wasn't meant to last this long, you know? I wasn't supposed to, like, live forever and ever and constantly experience pain and watching everyone around me die when I can't, and, like, you know, I've lost so much, and I just want it to end. I don't want to get into it right now.
That's more than fine. I understand. But that does lead into the other topic of discussion I wanted to get into while you're here, you know? She leans forward and kind of scooches her chair a little bit closer, kind of looking at Oz a bit more closely. So, destruction bench agreement.
What about it?
Well, they've been the ones who are trying to convince you away from trying to cure this curse, this affliction they've been experiencing for untold millennia, something that they can never really understand, an amount of pain and struggle that would be wholly alien to me, to just about anyone else alive. And they're trying to stop you, yes?
I mean, I wouldn't go that far. They've at least, like, helped me realize the spell I'm looking for is still around. But I haven't been able to make much progress past that, and they've kind of discouraged me from doing anything, like, rash, which is probably a smart idea, considering how Nepenthes ended.
Of course. I would never encourage someone to rush towards rash decisions. She stands up and kind of starts walking back and forth a bit. What if I told you that I could cure this affliction you're under? What if I told you that, now that we're together again, something that is of that caliber is what Eliza and I are working on right now? Something that could take all the problems in the world, all the suffering, all the endless problems caused by epithets, magic, otherworldly forces that we can't even conceive of or hope to overcome. That's exactly what we're looking to fix, Oz.
How so?
I don't want to get too into the specifics just yet. We're still in our relatively early stages, but again, now that we're together again, we've been making progress faster than ever. And this is something that... She kind of looks to Oz with a solemn expression. I understand that you and the rest of DBA have a warranted bad impression of the two of us. We've had to make many sacrifices. We've lost a lot as well on this journey we've been taking together. But we're finally on the verge of a true scientific miracle. Again, something that can change the world and push humanity far beyond any limits they've ever known before. Dare I say, you've lived through all of history, but this... If this works, all of that will only be the prologue to the new existence we could lead together. And if you help us, Oz, then using your own knowledge, I can't even imagine the wealth of expertise you've built up over the millennia you've been alive. If you help us, and help us with DBA, who, may I add, is by far going to be the biggest obstacle to actually achieving these goals, simply because of their warped perception of me and my wife. They have already decided that the two of us are villains, that we are enemies to defeat, that we are...
Problems to be solved.
Exactly. An episode to run one day. And I know for a fact that when this starts, they are going to be first in line to come for our heads. You know DBA. You have information on all of its participants. You know how it works. You know ways that they can be circumvented, Oz. I'm not telling you to just betray your friends and just, utterly turn against them. But if you help us with this, she kind of steps forward a bit and kind of leans down on one knee, looking up at them. I promise you, all that pain will be erased. Just like that. You won't even remember what it was like to live through all of that in the first place.
I have 2 conditions.
Name them.
1. Make sure DBA doesn't know my involvement, okay?
Of course.
2.
Lips are sealed.
You promise that at least a select few of people that I care about don't get hurt in this.
She sighs and gets to her feet, folding her arms. Well, it's certainly never my intention to go out of my way to cause trouble with anyone. If they come banging on our door, then I'm going to have to do what I can. You understand?
I know.
But until then, certainly, I have no intention of kicking the hornet's nest any more than I have to.
Alright. You got yourself a deal then.
That is wonderful to hear, Oz. And you know, I have the perfect token of goodwill to show you. As a sign of our mutual understanding. She holds up a hand, and Oz, you feel like epithet energy wash over you for a moment, but nothing hostile, nothing dangerous. It's just an ever so light gesture. And Rebecca's eyes her pupils dilate slightly. I have the power to look at the tiniest cells and molecules of someone's body. It lets me, well, I'll confess, there are probably better medical doctors and surgeons out there than myself, but this does allow me to cheat the system a little bit. And Eliza and I, well, as I said, we've been doing non-stop work since coming together again. How would you like that drug that's causing you so much pain, Nepenthes? How would you like that out of you?
If you're able to do it. I'm
I
not
will
sure how
certainly.
deep this runs, considering it affects body and epithet, but if you're able to.
I will certainly try my very best. And I'm sure Eliza has my back too. She turns back to her.
What would Eliza be doing right now, I ask myself. Hearing those words, she would probably turn around in her chair and just look to Oz, look to Rebecca. If I may say something for the metaphorical record,
Mm-hmm.
providing everything goes according to plan, nobody gets hurt. She turns back around, leaves it at that.
Just as we've agreed on, sweetie. She turns back to Oz, smiling. I'll keep in touch, okay?
Same.
And if you could bring any more of those notes, at the very least, they're a fun distraction. But they might even help with what we're working on.
I'll do
Thank
so.
you, Oz, for your understanding.
Rational members of the organization are few and far between.
You just gotta know where to look.
Perhaps you're right. See you soon.
Hmm.
Or, well, I suppose I can lead you out. She kind of she scratches her head as she holds the door
Wow,
open for them.
you're really ending this conversation off strong there, Rebecca.
Now, listen, I'm better at making deals than I am treating house guests.
You need some practice
Fairness,
with that.
she did just make a deal. I'm the one who usually does that work. Evidently, nothing that I've taught Rebecca has landed.
You do it very well, sweetie. Thank you. And, unless there's anything else you'd like to say, Scarlet or James,
Nah.
I think we can end that there.
I think that, what I want to say is, be gay, do crimes.
Be gay,
Damn.
do the crimes.
I guess you're right, Scarlet.
Be
Hey, everybody.
Commit the crime anexual. Hey everyone, if you want to never hear that series of words ever again, then join our Discord server, Find Time.
Indeed. I will put a link in the chat again. Thank you all so much for watching. What we do here would not be the same if we didn't have an audience continuing to watch it. Please join our server, come hang out, come find out when we're doing more cool stuff. And thank you for joining us on this short but very fun story. So, see you guys next time, and stay tuned for what happens next.
Bye-bye, chat.
Goodbye.